What's up guys, OJ here. Welcome to the RPG show here guys. I said that I would make a high quality show for all of the users out there when it comes to RPGs and Nintendo news, and I think this is going to be it. You guys can let me know how much you like it or not, but today we've got a bunch of great topics that I wanted to go down: Pokemon controversy, Fire Emblem Engage, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion, and more. So I think it's going to be a pretty good show. You guys know what to do. Drop a comment below, hit the like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click the notification bell so you can get all of the good RPG and Nintendo Switch awesomeness right here from the channel. But I think we should go ahead and jump right into it here because we had a brand new story trailer for Fire Emblem Engage, and it confirmed quite a number of new things if you missed it. Now, we have confirmations of Roy, Ike, Lynn, and Lucina as playable characters, and honestly, I'm just excited that we're finally getting more information and new stuff on Fire Emblem Engage. It's been a while since the last trailer that we got, which was the announcement trailer, and the game had a little bit of a polarizing response online. People praised the clean graphics of it, but the art style wasn't something that everybody was on board with. But with this new trailer, we got a bit of a better look at the game. We got some more characters shown off, and you can kind of see that Gust/Atelier style built into the art style of the game. It's something a bit different. It looks a bit more vibrant. It has a lot more pop to the colors than what Fire Emblem Three Houses did, and we're starting to see a number of people warm up to the game. Now, some people still don't like it, but I think that overall it's going to be a very solid and good Fire Emblem experience. It's going to be a back to the basics with depth Fire Emblem experience, and it pretty much combines two of the most successful Fire Emblem experiences all into one, with Fire Emblem Awakening, which is the game that is kind of credited at saving the Fire Emblem franchise, and also with Fire Emblem Heroes, which is the most successful Fire Emblem game of all time by a very large margin, and also the most successful Nintendo mobile game of all time. So that's kind of crazy because we have Animal Crossing, Mario Kart, we have regular Mario. All these games have came to mobile, but it's Fire Emblem Heroes that has actually been more successful than all of them. So I think that they combined both of those into one, but we don't have the gotcha and all of that from Fire Emblem Heroes, and obviously the graphics have been much improved from Fire Emblem Awakening to this point. So they went with a simplistic, clean, basic art style, but at the same time, it has some vibrancy to it. It has some pop to the colors, it has some pop to the flair in everything, and I'm really liking what they're showing off here. Gave us a little bit of a look at the possessed emblem rings. We know now that there's at least 12, and there could be some more, so I think it's going to be a very good game, and I'm looking forward to seeing more on Fire Emblem Engage. It drops on January 20th, so it's going to be here before you even know it. We're very close. And I'll be completely honest, guys, like, that's the way that I want to have these games be revealed and shown off. I don't need to see the game 10 years in advance. I know I'm exaggerating here, but I don't need to see the game so many years in advance, or they don't need to announce it so early. Show off the game right around the time that it's ready, then have a really short waiting time before the game comes out. I think that builds hype and that gets me more excited than announcing the game, then 2-3 years later the game drops. So hopefully more developers can do that. I know things change over the development time period, but I think that Fire Emblem Engage is doing it the right way, especially since Fire Emblem Three Houses was announced in 2017. They didn't come out all the way till 2019, so it was delayed a number of times. It was not ready, but I think they kind of had to do that. Otherwise, people would have said, oh my gosh, Fire Emblem is just being stuck on mobile and the Nintendo 3DS. So I think they kind of was forced into talking about Fire Emblem on the Nintendo Switch beforehand because of how the fans would react to the news. But either way, excited for Fire Emblem Engage. What do you guys think about the new story trailer and also the graphics, the music that they showed off, the new information, the characters? I think it looks great. You guys can let me know what you think. But now we are moving on to the next topic here, and that is going to be the Famitsu sales. Now listen here, guys. There's been a lot of talk and discussion on the Japanese sales and what is going on. Are there stock shortages in Japan? Is there not? Is the Nintendo Switch dying in there? Is there problems? Why isn't it selling as much? It got outsold by the PlayStation 5. I saw videos and people talking about that, but I want to make sure that we set everything straight when it comes to the Japanese sales. Now, myself, in terms of credentials, I've been covering Japanese sales now for over a decade at this point, back on my old blog and my old YouTube channel and all the way up to this point. So it's definitely been multiple years since the old Media Create days. So I think I have a pretty good grasp of the Japanese sales and the system, kind of how things work. And what I can confirm, and I want to make sure that I say this very clear, is that there have been stock shortages in Japan. I have a friend of mine, Genki, who also covers Japanese gaming and all of that. He's in Japan, and he showed off actual pictures of multiple different places not having stock the week of the PlayStation 5 doing a bit better. So Nintendo was dealing with some stock shortages, and I think that things are getting better at this point. There was also some stockpiling going on when it comes to it as well, because Pokemon is launching, and I think that we're seeing that because it went from 38K a few weeks ago to 90K the previous week, and then this past week was 97K. So in the past 2 weeks, just by itself, the Nintendo Switch has sold nearly 200,000 units. And in the past 3 weeks in Japan, it has sold well over 200,000 units, by far #1 in the area. So there was some stockpiling going on. The Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Nintendo Switch is proving to be really popular. It's hard to find in multiple stores. And now we have the sales that are coming out that just show that the Nintendo Switch is doing extremely well in Japan. Now, for the past week sales, there was also a big win from Square Enix. 57,000 units for Tactics Ogre Reborn. That actually beat out, this is physical sales, no digital, that beat out God of War Ragnarok and also Sonic Frontiers. So that's pretty big for a remaster of a PSP game, which was already an older game to begin with. So pretty impressive. People love their portable strategy RPGs in Japan, and it's great to see that Tactics Ogre Reborn started off very strong. And once again, that doesn't include digital, so we could be looking at maybe 70K or so starting off in Japan. You combine that with the US and European numbers and the rest of the world, we're looking at 100,000 units plus easy for Tactics Ogre Reborn worldwide. But just in Japan, 57K physical only is very impressive. So we're starting to see that the games and things are kind of coming together a little bit more with the Nintendo Switch, and it's going to be interesting to see next week because that is the debut of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and also the sales numbers there with the Nintendo Switch, how much units sell there. Now, to give you guys a little bit of reference, back I think in September or so when Splatoon launched, Nintendo Switch was well over 100,000 units plus that week that Splatoon came out, so that was big. I'm expecting the Nintendo Switch to ramp up to that and way more, maybe. We have to wait and see. It could be even more than that. But overall, Japanese sales for the past week, very good on the Nintendo Switch front. Everyone else not doing so good. You guys have seen the numbers though, but it is what it is. I think that's just how Japan is at this point. And obviously with the US and Europe, Sony and Microsoft, they're going to be, having huge sales numbers for the holiday season with Call of Duty and everything. So I think that everything's working out the way that it's supposed to work out. And I will continue to deliver you guys the best Japanese sales news and everything. Make sure that we get everything right so there isn't any confusion going forward in the future. But what do you guys think about the Japanese sales here also with Tactics Ogre Reborn? Very happy for that game. Check out my review or my gameplay or my whatever I did on it. It's on the channel. Just type it in. It's there. So you guys can check that out. But now we're moving in to the main topic of the show, and that is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Oh, goodness gracious. There was a lot to talk about with this game. Now we have record-breaking sales. I mean, that is not to be denied. We're going to get over that first, right? So record-breaking sales. The game is #1 on Amazon worldwide right now. I mean, it's just crazy. It's the highest pre-ordered Pokemon game in franchise history. The sales for this game are going to be absolutely massive, and that is something that's pretty cool for the Pokemon Company. Obviously, for Game Freak, they have success. They have a lot of success, but there are a number of controversies that are exploding with this game, especially with the performance of the game. Now, the reviews came out, 78 on Metacritic. I covered it here, so if you want to see the reviews and what the reviewers are saying, you can watch it on the channel. I'll have the links to that in the description below. But the reviewers are saying that the experience, the performance, is not holding up, and it interferes with the enjoyment of the game. And now that the game is out worldwide, people are playing it, you guys are playing it, maybe you're not playing it, you're seeing people put up footage, there is all sorts of stuff to show that, yes, there are multiple technical issues with this game. But the question is, for many people out there, is the Nintendo Switch hardware holding this game back to its full potential? If it was on something that was more powerful, could it fix everything? And I think that the truth is somewhere in between, but at the end of the day, you have to look at super powerful systems like the Wii U and Xenoblade Chronicles X to show that yes, Nintendo needs stronger hardware. Because look at how great Xenoblade Chronicles X ran, a true open world game with fantastic visuals, good performance, not dipping all over the place, not clipping all over the place. Those issues aren't there, and the Wii U is just so much more powerful. No, obviously guys, I'm being sarcastic and joking here. Overall, Game Freak could benefit from having some stronger hardware, but at the end of the day, their optimization isn't great here, because we've seen systems like the Wii U, we've seen the Nintendo Switch itself also produce games that have far better performance. Yes, there's been some tech issues in a lot of open world games or just stuff in general with the Nintendo Switch, but the performance issues that Pokemon is having, considering the visual fidelity of that game and how it looks, is definitely not on the system, because Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild launched on the Nintendo Switch and is also on the Wii U and looks and performs better, especially the Nintendo Switch version. You can also go to other games like The Witcher, for example, not necessarily the best looking game, but definitely the performance isn't as bad. You can see stuff like Nier Automata, the End of Yura edition, that looks and performs better than Pokemon Xenoblade Chronicles 3 that recently came out this year, but I think that it's the time that it takes, and I think that's where the issue lies. It's that Game Freak does not have the time in order to make a truly big open world game like this. They just don't have the time with all the different Pokemon and animations and multiplayer and different things that you have to add. They need more time to make these games, but they have to coincide with like the cards and like the anime and like this and like that. So it's up to Nintendo and more importantly, the Pokemon Company, because really it's the Pokemon Company, but it's up to them to make sure that they get enough time for the next games. It's not just about throwing more manpower or throwing more this at it. They need more time. Even the biggest games on the Nintendo Switch that look that way, or even on Xbox or PlayStation, those games need time. Those games need 4 or 5 years to develop to make these big games that doesn't have all the issues that this game is having. Now, is there still fun to be had? Absolutely. There's still tons of fun to be had. Like, there's still so much stuff to be had in this game, and I can't wait to get into it. As of the time that we're recording this video, I haven't started it yet, but Nintendo's giving me a review code, so I'll be checking out Violet. But yeah, there's definitely issues that need to be addressed. I feel that once we get new hardware, the Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever the case is, like, Game Freak still might have the same issues if they aren't given enough time to make the game better when it comes down to it, right? So I think that this is something that they can build off of, and I really hope that they do. But in my opinion, this is absolutely more of a Game Freak thing than a system thing, because we've seen already on the same system, heck, even last gen systems, or even the system before, you know, we've seen games actually perform much better when it comes down to it on weaker hardware. So to me, it's not really about the system itself. I don't see why anybody would blame that, considering Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I mean, considering what we've got with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and various other games that have released open world games on previous gen systems that perform and look better than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So that doesn't make sense to me, but it's just my opinion on that. So what do you guys think about this? Are you still excited for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Are you playing it right now? What is your experience when it comes down to it? How does it perform in handheld mode? How are you liking that? How about docked mode? And what is your starter? We got to ask that question. What was your starter? I'm going with Quaxley, because Quaxley looks really cool, so I have to go with him. He has like swag duck. Yeah, we got to go with him. But what are your thoughts on this, guys? But now we are moving on to the next thing, and that is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. This got a huge new trailer, more than a remaster. This game is looking incredible. Now, there is a little bit of disappointing news maybe for some with the Switch version of the game. Now, there was reports where people were saying that this game, hey, this might be 60 frames per second on the Nintendo Switch. But that is not the case. We now know, according to Square Enix, they put out this board here that you guys are seeing, this nice chart that shows off the performance, resolution, and other information with Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. And we can see here that docked and also portable mode, it's 720p, 30 frames per second. Now, what we could be seeing here, because of the reports of people that have went hands-on with the Switch version of the game, is that the game runs at a really smooth 30 frames per second with perfect frame pacing. So it gave the impression that, hey, this might be 60 or this might be smoother than what we usually see with some of these ports that come over. So unfortunate there, but I think that based off of what we know right now, it's still going to be a smooth experience. And if you want the, I don't know, original handheld experience of the game, there are options. You can have Steam Deck, right? That's going to be a game that you can play on there, or you can play on the Nintendo Switch, which I think is still going to hold up very well with footage and also with the gameplay. They talked about a number of improvements. They got a big interview with the developers where they talked about different things, but the bane of my existence with games like this, right? That where I really want to play portable, so I want to get it on Switch, but then I also want to experience the nice graphics and everything, because this is going to be 4K 60 frames per second on PS5. But the bane of my existence is the fact that there's no cross save. It's like, why can't these companies work together? I need something. Seriously, like, we need to fix this. This is a huge and major problem, that there is no cross save between the PlayStation 5 version of the game and the Nintendo Switch version of the game. Why is it that The Witcher has cross save? The Witcher 3, not even a Japanese game, right? The Witcher 3 has cross save between PC and also Nintendo Switch. So you can play on the go, then you can come back, play on your PC, play on whatever you want, right? That's cool. Well, not whatever you want, because you can't do it on PS4, PS5, or whatever. But you guys know what I'm talking about here, right? But now with this, once again, I want to get both. Same thing with like Tactics Ogre. Tactics Ogre, it looks so much better to play on the portable screen, right? But then, hey, I want to check out the PS5 version. Well, nope. No cross save. So that's the problem here. And they need to fix that. And I remember with Capcom and Monster Hunter Rise, which we're going to talk about in just a bit. But Capcom was like, hey, you guys want cross save between PC and Switch? And like everyone's like, yeah. And then they're like, all right, we're working on it. And then once the game launched, like, okay, no, we couldn't do it. Like, so apparently this must be hard. I mean, because they can even get it done on PC. So apparently this must be hard. So they need to work together. Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, like, we need some type of universal save system or something like that. Kind of like how Ubisoft does with their games across different platforms. We need some type of universal save system for various games that are multi-platform. Like, seriously, we really do. Because this is ridiculous. I mean, like, the next game is coming out, Octopath Traveler 2, and no cross saves, probably not any cross saves on that too. It's like, no, I want that 4K or whatever, you know, PS5 experience, but then I also want the portable Nintendo Switch experience, and yeah, no cross save. So come on. And I am going to start a hashtag universal saves, hashtag universal saves, which nobody's going to pick up because Twitter is imploding at this point. It might be dead by the time that I put up this video. Who knows? No, I'm just joking, kind of. But what do you guys think? Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion. I think that it's going to be pretty good based on what we're seeing here. And moving on to the last thing here, guys, the last topic, we're discussing Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. We got the title update number 3 that is going down, and it's awesome. November 24th, you're going to get yourself new monsters, new layered weapons, new event quests, paid DLC within paid DLC. The game just keeps getting better and better. Probably the most impressive third-party game on the Nintendo Switch. So fans, you guys can all unite, and there will be more information. Make sure you guys check out the link in the description where they talk about different things, where you can play the game with the NPCs, and now you can kind of do everything faster. I mean, there's just all sorts of new stuff in this, and I think that Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak and Monster Hunter Rise, they have done an impeccable job. Like, I don't think there's a third-party game that's more impressive overall than Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. From the performance of the game, to the looks of the game, to everything there, which I guess it kind of relates back to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Yes, I know that Monster Hunter Rise is not an open world game, but goodness gracious, look at that game. Look at that game. Look at what they did with the monsters in the game. Look at what they did with everything there. Yes, they don't have 400 different Pokemon to collect, but goodness gracious, they did a phenomenal job with the engine and with the graphics and what they're doing there. So it's possible. But yeah, Monster Hunter Rise is looking great. I think that the fans are very happy with this. So what do you guys think about the new information and the new gameplay and the new monsters and items and things that are coming there? And also, what do you guys think about the format of the show? What do you guys think about how I'm doing this here? So yeah, I think it was a very fun show to go over this. We're going to do this every week. Hopefully, as long as there's content here, we're going to get that done. So thank you guys so much for watching the show. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe if you are someone new. Click the notification bell. Drop a comment about your favorite topic or article or what you want me to discuss in the future. And I will see you guys for the next one. Peace out.